Macro Code. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our help desk management system. So as you can see, we have our login screen here. So I'm going to sign in. So this will take us to the dashboard. So here we have the dashboard, the number of tickets per category, the number of tickets per the category as well. And we have these particular graphs. So we have here the access to applications, that is the title of the ticket, description, priority, status, created by, created on, and the number of comments, and even the comment details. Then as you can see, we have our tickets categorized into recent tickets, assigned tickets, resolved tickets, closed tickets. And you also have the ticket comments, the ticket categories, and the ticket subcategories. Then you have the audit trails. So everything we are doing in our application, we're actually tracking them. Also, you have the system users. These are all the users within the application. We have the system codes. So on the system codes, this is where we are actually logging some of the options and even the options categories. So as you can see, we have also the system roles, the departments within our application. We have the system tasks. These are all the modules, submodule, or even the actions that will be undertaken within the system. So we'll be using this to control the rights access to the application and also manage some of the privileges. Then you have the system profiles. So here we'll be actually managing tying the system tasks to even rights to user groups. Then you have the system settings. So these were all the settings in terms of password expiry, timelines, and even ticket resolution days. You can always manage it here. Then you have the countries within the application. So these are all the countries. You can create the countries within the application and even tie them to the cities. So today I want us to do something interesting. So when we were creating our application, assuming for example you want to create, when we were creating tickets, we changed this to actually to use a view model. So as you can see, we have the title, the description, the priority. So you are able to select that, the ticket category, you're able to select, and even the subcategory. And you can always add an attachment. But there was something that we did. So if you go back to the code, you realize that we had, so let's just go back to the code. And we are going this to the tickets details and create a view. Then you'll realize that you're actually using the ticket view model. So here, so you'll realize that you're actually using ticket view model. So how are we translating this to our ticket model? So if you go to the tickets controller, you'll notice that you are doing a one-to-one mapping. So you see this one, we were actually doing ticket.id, we map it to the ticket vm.id. So assuming you have like 20 fields, or assuming you have like, in fact, a whole solution, how many times will you be taking to actually map one field to another? So you can take a whole time, that is even a whole day, trying to just develop one module because of such kind of things. So you're actually mapping one field to the view model, one field to the other, description, status, ID, priority. So you can imagine such kind of task, and you have, for example, the ticket model having like even 15 fields. So that will take you a very long time. And assuming also you do the same for the ticket categories, you do the same for the system codes, you do the same for the departments. So, and here we are assuming you're actually maintaining an MVVM kind of architecture. So it will be a very big task for you to actually handle that. So I want us to introduce something in our project now going forward. So because we are going to change our project now to not use, to avoid using models, but use view models. So we are going to change it to use view models. And the reason for that is, even if we are going to change some of the items on the models, we don't need to update the database. So remember, when we are dealing with our models here, anything that we need to change, assuming we want to just provide a field that we need to have it on the application, but we don't want to translate it to the database, then this is not going to work. So if you are dealing with the models, this actually translates to our tables, and we'll have the challenges assuming we want to just provide some fields, or even provide some items that we don't want to be translated to table fields. Then it will be a bigger task. So I'm going to now change our approach, and we are going to be using view models going forward. So, and now, because we are going to use view models, I want us to make our work easier. We don't need to be doing this. So this will be a very huge task as we are going to convert that. So that now brings me to something called Automapper. So I'm going to introduce you guys to something called Automapper. So Automapper is a simple, little library built to save a deceptive, complex problem, getting rid of code that mapped one object to another. So this type of code is rather dreary and boring to write. So why not invent a tool to do it for us? So, and that is now where Automapper comes in. So you can imagine mapping some of these uh, um, some of these properties from a view model to the model before it is actually being saved to the database. We'll be doing a lot of tasks, and actually such kind of work is also boring. So I want us now to introduce a view model that is Automapper. So how are we going to do this? So let's just begin and try to see how this works. So I believe you are able to see how this is being done here. So you'll be able to see how Automapper now does the work for us. So let's just now begin here, and let's add a NuGet package. So we're going to introduce now a NuGet package here, and we are going to call this Automapper. So let's just add our NuGet package. So if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed up to this point, consider subscribing, like the video, and comment down below. And in case you need this kind of source code, use the link down below to claim it. And also this will go a long way in ensuring that we provide you guys with the best content, and also work with you this journey to ensuring that we complete this solution. So I'm going to browse, and I'm going to search for the NuGet called Automapper. So if you search Automapper, you'll be able to see such kind of NuGet. And you can be able to see we have this dependency injection, which is actually deprecated. And we have now another one here with 655 million downloads as per this time. So I'm going to install that. So once we install that, then we are going to configure our Automapper in our application. But before doing that, I want us to develop something. So I want us to add a class that will now be helping us to do that. So here, I want us to create a folder. I want us to create a folder on our project called services. So let's just create a folder here called services. So let's create a folder here. So here, then call it services. So then on these services, I want us to create a class called, so let's just call it Automapper profile service. So let's just call it Automapper profile service. So here, you'll just add a class called Automapper profile service. So Automapper profile. So let's just do profile. Then we say service. So if you add that class there, then this is now our class. So what I want us to do here is I want us to inherit something here. So just inherit something from profile. So if you just do full colon, then say profile, we are going to import something. So if we just do profile, then you are going to import something here. You see, it is telling us using Automapper. So if you just say using Automapper, then that is okay. So you need to click on that, and that will be imported. So once you have that imported, I want us to now configure and configure something on our program.cs class. So on our program.cs class, I want us to do something here before actually using that. So just before the app is equals to builder.build, here I want us to say, I want us to do here, we can say variable. So I'll just say config. Then you can say is equals to new. Then I'll say mapper. So I'm going to say mapper configuration. So I'm going to say mapper configuration. There we go. And you can see we are actually using Automapper. So this should be mapper configuration. So if it appears there, then you can just click on it. So this is the one I am looking for. Then I can open brackets. Then inside here, I'll now do config. So I'll just say here CFG. Then that is it. Then I'm going to open brackets. So this is the curly bracket. Sorry, I'll do that. Then I'll say here, I'll say if, so I'll just do if CFG is not null, then I can do that again inside here. Then I'll now do CFG dot, so I can do CFG dot, here I can do source member naming convention. Then I can say here equals to new. Then I can say maybe Pascal. I can actually indicate the naming convention. Then I can also say, so I can close this and put in semicolon there. Then I can also say CFG dot. I can do destination as well, naming convention. So you can map and it can actually be the same. So that is some of the aesthetics that you can do. And also we can do here, let me zoom this in a bit. And also I can do here CFG dot. I can actually allow null destination values. So I can say allow null destination values. I can now put this equals to true. So these are some of the configurations that you can do. And I can now say CFG dot. We can now add the profile. So the profile will be equals to new. You remember our service? Then we can have it here. Automapper service. So we can actually copy the name here instead of writing it. So we can add it here, and we remember we need to import it. It's already imported. Then once we are done with that, we can actually close that, and ensure that this is closed. So we have here, this is closed, this is closed, this is closed. Then here we actually need to close this as well. So we can just do that. So, and you can see our code is now okay without any particular kind of errors. So here you can say if this is not null. So yes, so that should be the case. Then after that is done, that's not done. So we have to do variable, we say mapper. So our mapper now will be equals to config dot create. It has to create the mapper, and we have to do that. And now we can say builder dot services. Then you can say dot add. You can say add singleton, and we are going to add our mapper. See this one? I'm going to add it here. So that now configures our Automapper is now ready to be used. So as you can see, we have this here. So we have actually added some settings, allow null destinations, a source member naming convention, destination member convention, and we have actually created our Automapper initialized there. So the next thing that I want us to do now is we need to go to our Automapper service. So if you go here, and on this particular point, I want us to have first our constructor. So if you just do CTOR, then tap, it will give you the constructor. Then here, I want us now to create the mapping. So if we just say create map, you see, create map, and you just do that. So the create map here, as I hover, you can see there is something there, iMapping expression. It is source to destination, source to destination. So I want us to do now for our ticket view model. You remember our ticket view model? I'll now copy our view model called ticket view model, and this is the view model. So if I do this, I can say this is the source, and I can do comma, then destination is now our ticket model. So if I just say ticket, we'll have our ticket model here, and I can do this. So Automapper provides you now mapping from the source to destination. So assuming I want to do ticket to view model, some guys will just copy this and alternate. So you can do just do ticket, that is the source, and you can do destination is our ticket view model. You've seen I've actually alternated these two. But Automapper gives us the best way to do this. Instead of doing this, I can actually remove the second line. Then on the first line, I can say dot reverse map. So it will actually do the reverse mapping. So I can now maybe take the ticket view model and map it to the ticket model, or I can take the ticket model and map it to the ticket view model. So you can either map the ticket view model to the ticket model or the ticket model to the ticket view model. So that is what is happening. So this makes now our work easier. So what do we need to do after we have done this? So the next thing that we need to do is now to use this particular part and ensure that we now configuring this and using it in our application. So how are we going to use it? So I want us to now use this in our project to ensure that we can be able to map this now to our model. So let's go to the controller, and I want us to go here. Then you are going to the controller and say, so here we need to use ticket controller. So, but before we do the ticket controller, so what I want us to do now is let's just go to the constructor, that is the ticket controller. Then at the top of our constructor here, I want us to do something. So I want us to import something that we are going to use it in our application. So let's just navigate to the top. And here, I want us to do private. So just do private, read only, then say Automapper. So Automapper. So that will import Automapper. Then you are going to call this underscore mapper. So then we are going to have it here. I'll just do here. Then I can do Automapper. Then you can say maybe Automapper. Then here we are going to assign, so this should be comma. Then we are going to assign it here, say underscore. So this should be Automapper. So you just do that. Then that is it. So here we'll say underscore Automapper. Then we are going to have it equals to Automapper. So if we do that, then if we go to our create action for our project, now where we were mapping. So if we go back here, you realize that you are doing a one-to-one mapping here. So what I want us to do, instead of doing this, I want us to comment all this line of code here. And you'll be able to see that we need to make this work easier. So how do we do that? So here, we are going to say here, so this will be, can say variable. So I want us now to map, instead of doing a one-to-one mapping, I want the Automapper to do it for us. So we are going to say variable, then I'm going to use this name here. You see this one, ticket equals to, then I'll say underscore mapper. Then I do dot map. Then here I'll say into brackets. Then I need to supply my source. Which is my source? Our view model here. So we need to map the data from this ticket VM, and we are going to map it directly to our, so this one should be here. So let's just do, then we are going to do here. So we need to have our destination. So here, I'm going to say ticket, then here I'll say, let me just instantiate our ticket here. So we'll need our ticket, then I'll say ticket details, then I'll say new. So if I just say new, then I'll say our destination will be this one. And this one, our ticket details here, should actually now get the details from this. So then what it will do, it needs now to map this. You see all this, it will be mapped. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove this line of codes and just leave the status as you see there. So all these lines that you've been having here has been reduced by these 2 lines of code. So you can imagine if you have like 50 fields. So let's try to create a ticket. And I'm going to have a breakpoint here so that we see what is happening. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and also comment down below. So I'm going to do the mapping and also see if this works. So we're going to map the data from the ticket view model to our ticket model and actually save the data instead of doing a one-to-one mapping of all those particular fields. So our project has launched. So let's just sign in and see how this works. So I'm going to sign into the project, and we are going to go directly to the tickets and try to create a ticket. So I'll just go to the ticket, recent ticket. Then you're going to create a ticket. So this is the new ticket. Though if I say test mapping, and also so this is test mapping, and we say here we are doing test mapping. Priority is urgent. That is it. And you can, so let's select another one. So that's it. So if I click save, I should get hit to the, so you can see my breakpoint. So our view model, you see our ticket view model, it has some of the details. So it has our title, it has our priority ID, it has our state, that is our subcategory ID, and it has our description. So what happens to our ticket view model? So as you can see, our ticket view model, it has nothing. So you can see it has nothing. So if we proceed, so let's just proceed. If we proceed down here, you should notice that our ticket details should be having the details from our view model. You see, the description has now the test mapping. Our category ID has 1, our priority ID has 1, and our ticket duration and our title is that. So if we proceed and save, our application should save without any particular challenge. So as you can see, our application has been saved. And remember, we've just now reduced the workload. So I'm going to also save another application ticket so that you see how this, so we say working details. So this is working details. Then here we say this is error log. Then we say this is urgent. We say this is software and antivirus. So if we click save, then we proceed. Then you can see we have error log, and you have all these details, subcategory, and the priority ID has been mapped. So if we just proceed, it will be able to save. So, and you can see our ticket details has been saved. So if you come to the ticket details, you'll be able to see some of those details that you have been saving on the last page. So you see these are the items. Where are they? So where is it? So let's just check, increase the number of tickets. So you can see we have the working details and also the test mapping, and these are the tickets that you've just added. So I want you now, let's just now maybe do one thing, maybe do one so that we proceed. So for example, like ticket, that is the system codes. So let's just go to the system codes. So we are going to create now the view model for the system code. So I'll just do here. So I'll do here view model. So it says system code view model. So we just say system code view model. Then we can now take the properties of the system code. So if we just go back here, I'll now copy this and go back to the system code view model. Where is it? Here. Then I'll paste this here. Then here I can now use this, and remember here now I have the freedom to modify my model how I want without affecting my database. So here I'll say, so you can say display name, and I can do here. So this is number. So this is number. I can also have this is system code. So I'll say here system code, And I can also have this is a description. So I'll just say this is a description. And this is our model. So this is our model. So if I just copy this and go to the system code, I'll just go to the system code, and here on create, instead of using the system code model, I'll be using our view model. And remember now this changes to view models. So properties has not been changed, but these now will be on our controller. We are going to now change these to ensure that we are expecting. So if we just go to the create, we are expecting not the system code, but we are expecting the system code view model. So if you just change that, you'll notice that we are automatically getting an error. You see this error? So that means if you come here and do, you say variable, so you can say this is VM, and you can say variable system code. So you see system code. So I think our project is running, so let's just stop. System code equals to, so we should not even do this. So let's system code, then we say system code equals to new. So that is one way of doing it. So we'll have system code, then we now do mapping. So I'll now come here and say, so the old way of doing things. So I'll say dot description equals to VM dot description. Then I'll also want to have the code. So I'll also copy that and do this code, and this is code. So you see, I'm actually doing one-to-one mapping. So I'm doing that and that. But now, if these fields were many, I could have a lot, I could be doing a lot of work doing this one-to-one mapping. So if we just relaunch our app, our application should be working as expected without any alteration. So we've just now used a view model, but we are now translating this to the model. So let's just launch our app and see. So if we go to our application and try to create a model that is a system code, then you should be able to create it without any challenge. So let's just go to the application and try to create that. So I'm going to sign in. So we notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you have not subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing, like the video, and you can also share. So here I'm going to the system code. So where is it? System code. Then if I just click here and say testing code, and I say here testing code, and I click save, our system code, you can see it is saved. So we have not altered anything. But now what we are trying to improve is this kind of workload. So what we need to do to change that, just come here and do private. So you can actually copy this and do it here. Say private imapper, and you can say this is underscore mapper. Then here I'll just do imapper. So where is it? Imapper. Then say mapper. So I'll just do mapper. Then here I'll now do underscore mapper equals to mapper. Then once I'm done with that, I'll just come down here, and instead of doing this one-to-one mapping, I just say, so here I'll just say system code. So I'll say system code details. Then I'll say here, I'll just say here, variable system code equals to underscore mapper dot map. So I'm mapping data from our VM, that is the source, and the destination is our system code details. So this line of code here actually eliminates these two lines of codes, and that one will give me the data. That one will give me the data without any particular issue. So if we try to save our application, if we try to launch our application, we should now be able to save also the system code without a challenge. So, but I want you to see something, guys. So if you are keen about what we did previously, I want you to see something, because this is where now you'll get to understand what is happening. So if you are going to launch the app and try to save any system code, so let's just sign in. Then on the system code, I'm going to just type in another system code so that we see what is happening. So if I come here and try to add new and say testing again, sorry, so it's loading. So testing again, and we say create. So we are getting an error, and that is what I wanted you guys to know. So you see, there is an error that is giving us. It is saying Automapper mapping exception, missing type, map configuration, or unsupported mapping. So an Automapper mapping exception, missing type, map configuration, or unsupported mapping. So mapping type system code view model. So it is now not able to map the system code view model to our system code model. You see this one. So what is the issue then? And we did the other one without any error. Yes, so you might be asking yourself. So the issue is on our, you remember the service that we created here, Automapper profile service, it is not defined. So we need to define it here. So we are going to define that you should be able to map system code view model and our system code. So if you do that, now our application will understand. So if we just go back now and try to save, then you should be able to do it without any particular error. So the system now will be able to know that you can actually map the source system code view model to the system code. And actually, that will now be able to work. So if you are new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing and also like our video. And in case you need the source code, you can use the link down below to claim the source code. So I'm going to do now the creation. So let's just go to system codes, and we are saying now final test, and we do final test. So these are just key text that I'm putting in, but remember you need to provide the correct system codes. So if I just create, our application will work. So as you can see, we have now our final codes. Where is it? We have here our final test and our final test details. So we've been able now to configure Automapper, and we have been able to use it in our application. So if you have enjoyed the video and you like the video, comment down below, subscribe, and see you in our next video. Bye.